Hello, I'm Mark from Titan LED, and today we are going to retrofit this fluorescent troffer that's in the hallway here, and we are going to switch it over to a single end powered fixture to hold the brand new Titan LED tube, single-ended tube. We will start off by, of course, cutting our power and then removing the tubes, and then I'm going to take out this center cover here that actually covers up our ballast and the wiring. So power off. Carefully take out your tubes. Oops. And take out the two mercury filled tubes, and now we'll pull off this cover, the ballast cover. Okay, so here we are, step number 2, we have everything exposed. These are our incoming wires, load, neutral. There's your ballast. We're going to actually bypass these ballasts now, so I will be reusing the wire that is connected to the ballast, so I cut the wire as close to the ballast as possible, just so that none's wasted. So now I just cut all the wires that went to this ballast to these tombstones right here. These are our other set of tombstones. Now these tombstones, if they slide out, there's usually in a little channel. You just slide them right back in, just like that. And this other tombstone is actually powered from this other ballast, so we're going to need to remove the wires and vice versa on this side. Here are your two power wires, black and white. We'll be cutting those. And then we're going to cut the other two output wires, the yellow wires coming off the ballast. So now when we're done, there is nothing connected to the ballast anymore. We have disconnected all the wires. So let's go to the other side, do the same thing. Right up next to the ballast and cut them there. And we are going to actually take the ones coming out, our blue and reds, and cut them here. So now your ballasts are completely disconnected, as you can see. There is no wires going to the ballast any longer. No power. We're going to leave them in there because we don't want to pay the hazmat fee, so it's fine just to leave them in there. They have no power going to them. They have no power coming from them. They're just physically there now. Alright, so this is our main power coming into the unit. Now we are going to go to a single-ended power on this. That means that both of our load and neutral are going to come into these tombstones, and then we're going to have a load and neutral, load, neutral, load, neutral, load, neutral on each of the tombstones. So each one will be individually wired. I have cut the wires to the other tombstones. They stay neutral, so there will be nothing connected to the other tombstones. You can cut the wires to the face of them as close as possible and just leave them unwired if you want. So what you want to do is you want to take your wires that are coming from each of the tombstones. Now you could replace the tombstones and you could change all the wires so that everything kind of is color coordinated. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to be doing that. I'm just going to retrofit this troffer. Two of the same color wires, but one is carrying load and one is neutral going into the... So here's our first tombstone, two wires going in, one load, one neutral. Second tombstone, wires going in, one load, one neutral. Now if you notice, this center has jumpers. These black wires jump over to this next tombstone, so all we have to do is actually connect these yellow wires, load and neutral, and then that load and neutral will be carried over from these black jumper wires into that next tombstone. So that's not an issue, so we're just going to keep that. We don't need to actually have the individual wires going to the next one. So we'll take these two and we're going to separate these two. So basically load and neutral, load and neutral. So right now we've got a yellow and a blue, and a yellow and a blue. And our last tombstone is connected with the red wires. And again, we're going to split these, and we're going to have a load to one side and a neutral to the other. We'll strip the end of it. the yellows. We don't need all this extra wire, so we'll get rid of some of this. And strip this. That's 2. And like I said, the yellow is jumped over to this next tube stone by the black, so we're only going to need to grab this last red wire here. And we're going to strip that. And here we have it. Alright, so now I have connected, if you notice, we have 2 wires going to the first tombstone. I've split one of the wires and tied 1 wire from each of the tombstones together on one side, like this. Now you have to make sure that these tombstones are non-shunted. If they are shunted, that means that the 2 pins are connected together and it will blow if you put power into it. So they have to be non-shunted tombstones for you to be able to do this. Let's go ahead and take this power lead here, and we're going to tie it into this. Get a nice twist going, and you should come off the end here. And we're going to take our wire nut, and I like to twist till I get a really good grab on there. And so now all of our wires are bound together with this 1 wire nut. So I like to wrap the wires at the bottom real tight, and then come onto the nut. Just like that. And with our neutral, we're going to actually bring in all the other side of these tombstones. So now you have 1 blue wire going to our load. This other blue wire is going to go to our neutral connection. So let's tie these again together. So we've got the blue one. Let's strip this back. And we have our yellow, which is jumped by the black. And I'm going to cut this a little shorter. We'll get a little extra on there. And our last one is the red, which is our last tombstone connections. And we are going to wire those to our neutral incoming power. There we go. Put this back on. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And then a lot of people don't put it on the electrical tape, but I just like this as a final safety precaution. So we will put on the black tape here. And there you have it. Be careful not to cut your wires. You have a very sharp, input right here, so you have to be careful about your wires coming into that. Make sure they're not cut. But it's a very simple connection. You actually have your neutral and your load coming into the fixture. The load is going to each of your tombstones to one side of the tombstone. So you have load, 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 load. And then on the other side of the tombstone is your neutral. So neutral, neutral, jumpered by the black neutral, and the last red is neutral. So that's it. This troffer is now wired for a single-ended tube connection. We're just going to kind of make these look a little prettier. Plus it'll be a little easier to get the cover back on if you do it nice and neat here. Let's put our cover back on. And we have taken the direct wiring coming in and connected it to one end of the fixture to the tombstones. Okay, so this is the other end of the fixture. As you can see, I have taken all the wires out of the tombstones. So the only purpose for these other tombstones is to actually hold the bulb in place. Okay, so here is the troffer with the cover put back on, and it is ready to receive the new tubes. Now the tubes, when you get them, will be clearly marked the input on one end. So do not, make sure you match up this input end of the tube to the power side that you wired on the troffer. If you put it in backwards, of course, you're not gonna. Our next step is to put the tubes in. So we are gonna carefully put these back into the slots. Tube number 1. Just carefully push those back up into there. Tube number 2. Again, make sure you match up your input power. Put it on the right end. Tube number 2. that to lock up in there. Number 3, checking the power input end. So now all of our tubes are in place. Our brand new Titan tube, single-ended, is wired up. Here comes the fun part, flipping on the switch. And there you have it. Beautiful, bright light from the Titan LED tube, single-ended. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mark from Titan LED, and this has been another Titan LED production of a retrofitted troffer, going from a full-on fluorescent troffer down to our brand new single-ended tubes.